The next shooting position that I'm going to talk about is the sitting. Now, if somebody gives me the option, I'm in a shooting competition, and they say you have the choice between kneeling or sitting, I'm almost always going to choose sitting. For me personally, it's more stable than kneeling. And how I do approach the sitting position is face directly towards the target, and then I turn my body at a 45-degree angle from the target, and then I just sit down cross-legged, what we used to call Indian style, but I don't think we can say it anymore. So I'm facing the camera, but my target's at a 45-degree angle to me off to my half left. So I have my legs crossed here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to push my knees down, like I'm physically going to push them down. And that just tells my brain that, hey, I don't want to use any muscles here in my thigh to help lift up my legs, because the more you're using your muscle, the more you're going to fatigue and you're going to start to shake. So I want to just push my knees down and have no muscle. I'm just sitting completely relaxed. My knees are down as far as they can go. And now with my left arm, put my elbow in this there's a little hollow pocket right there. And with my right elbow, I put it on my right knee. So another thing you can do if you have a sling, especially one of these VTAC slings here, and again, this is how I do it. I'm not telling anybody else how to, but I get the sling just the right length, and these are easily adjustable. And I actually wrap my sling around the back of the magazine to get, and I get that nice and tight so I'm snugged in, and I get less movement that way. And now this is just the 223, right? So very little recoil. So I'm not going to fight that recoil, all right? I'm just going to let it kind of rock me back a little bit. But all your other principles, fundamentals of marksmanship apply, right? We have our steady position, breathing. You can do your natural point of aim. Close your eyes, open them back up, and I'm right on target. If I wasn't on target, I would shift my body a little bit, left, right, and not so much try to force the gun. Take a breath in, weapon off safe. And then as I exhale, the sights are settling on the target. And then I'm holding the trigger for a second. You don't have to do that, it just helps me. And then I reset it. So I let that gun rock me back a little bit, and then I usually reset the trigger, and then I take a breath in, and then I'm ready again 4 seconds later or so to take another shot. That's a 10-inch plate out at 100 yards, so not really a tough shot. But for me, this is always going to be more steady than the kneeling. All right, so let's talk about the kneeling position a little bit. So I've seen guys, I've actually seen videos of guys doing this, and I've seen it at the range. They come down and they take a knee, and then they're just shooting completely unsupported, which makes no sense to me, because why are you taking a knee other than, lowering your, limiting your vision or whatever. So if you're going to take a knee, then you can use that knee as a support, a pretty stable support. So your hind leg, you can do whatever you're comfortable with your right leg. A lot of guys sit right on their foot, which is fine, unless you're sitting here for about 10 minutes. It can get uncomfortable. So just find a position where you can sit for a minute or two before you start getting too much pain. So again, you can use your sling these VTAC slings, you can adjust easily, make them bigger, smaller really quickly. And you can wrap your arm in there to make that a little bit more snug. But basically, you're just putting your left elbow on your left knee. And I want to use as much try to get the bone in my arms as straight up and down as possible. The more it's extended out, the more you're going to use your bicep. That's going to start to fatigue, and then your arm's going to start to shake. So try to get it, you're not going to get it straight up and down, but try to get it more straight using the bone to support and not the muscle. Sitting back on my right foot, left elbow. So again, with your elbow you can try some different positions. It might be more comfortable to put your elbow out in front of your knee and then using this back, your triceps as the rest. Because if you put your elbow right on, there might be kind of a bony part there. So if you can find a good spot where it's going to sit in there and not move around when you have a little bit of recoil, you don't want it to bounce and fall off. So just find that good spot where we're locked in. Tighten this up. But everything else of the fundamentals of marksmanship are the same, right? We have our steady position. We have our breath control, sight alignment, proper sight alignment, and finally trigger squeeze. So again, take weapon off safe, breathe in, and as I'm breathing out, sights are settling on the target. I'm not fighting that recoil at all. I'm letting it rock me back a little bit. Then I take my breath in. As I start to breathe out, I reset the trigger. Sights come back on target. All right, so that's how I do the kneeling position.